They say it's hard to beat a team twice, and tomorrow night, Tennessee is going to try to right some past wrongs as they take the trip up I-75 North to Big Blue Nation and try to knock off an on-fire Kentucky squad. Folks, Friday is here, and we welcome you to the desk for another great show. I'm Alex Carpenter, joined by my fantastic cast of Alexie Cowan, Jack Glennon, and Jordan Smitherman. We've got some hoops talk on the way, but before we get to that, we want to start with some breaking news that we received on Wednesday regarding Joey Aguilar, who was granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA by the Knox County Court. The story. Luke, what in the world is going on in the world of the NCAA right now, and what does this mean for Aguilar?
Well, guys, Joey Aguilar fighting for that sixth and final year of college eligibility. He's been in college football for 8 total years, but now looking to spend his final year with the Tennessee Volunteers. This week, he's been given a temporary restraining order against the NCAA, and what this means, he's allowed to return to conditioning and workouts with the team for 15 days. That's how long it lasts, and it signals well for Joey's legal team. They've been making good arguments in courts, and the judges think that they have a case future on down the line. Now, we'll bring you updates as this keeps unfolding. Certainly updates coming in the next couple of days. We'll keep you updated with everything we know here on the Volunteer Channel and Torch Sports. Guys, back to you.
Luke, always a pleasure. We will continue to follow this case and keep you updated on the verdict. Now, Tennessee picked up 2 big SEC wins last week at home against Auburn and Ole Miss. Nate Ament leading the way with both games dropping 22 on the Tigers and 28 on the Rebels in an impressive second-half performance. Now, Tuesday's Ole Miss matchup got a little bit heated, with Rebels coach Chris Beard getting ejected, and he was fired up in the second half.
Fired up.
For sure.
Took a run out there.
And it made the whole team fired up, too. As soon as Chris Beard was leaving, Bishop Oswald was clapping up, and he was, like, trying to rally up the crowd. It worked.
It was crazy. I got to watch it. I wasn't there, but I got to watch it on TV, and I was like, what is he doing? He's running back out. He went back out, and then he ran back. That was crazy.
I was at the game, and I was on the opposite side of the court, so I didn't even know, like, what exactly led to it. But he was on fire. Chris Beard was.
But I mean,
I was at the game as well with Jordan. We were covering it together for Torch Sports, and Chris Beard was talking after the game about it. He said it was about the foul discrepancy, which at the time the free throw discrepancy was 14-9, nothing out of the ordinary.
Now, I'll tell you, sometimes these coaches do this sort of thing to just kind of fire up their team. They try to make a statement. When they know that they are going to get a technical, there's a thing that goes on in their head where they're like, you know what, I'm going to go get chunked, and maybe that sparked something. It didn't, though.
you losing by 20. It's too late to get fired up.
It only made it worse.
Got to try something. I mean, this is the reason Tennessee has won these last 2 games at home is they've out-rebounded their opponents, 79-50. Rebound the ball, rebound the ball, rebound the ball, and you'll win 99% of the time with numbers like that. They've been better from the stripe, 74% in these last 2 games as opposed to 69% on the season.
Well, I mean, you're seeing so many different players kind of take charge like you haven't yet. Ament is 100% taking charge when nobody else will. And I'm liking J.P. Estrella's style of play in the past couple games. He's taking a lot better care of the ball. Do you think he's not?
He's playing better because it's in the absence of Felix Okpara. As soon as he comes back, J.P. Estrella's going right back to the bench.
Well, you've got to play better. When your name's called, you got to get up there. I think he's done phenomenal.
That's a valid point, but Estrella's stepping up when needed.
Terrible defender.
Exactly.
He can score layups at the rim, and even he misses about 50% of those. He can't stretch the floor at all. He can't shoot free throws. I think he's a solid player, but only from within 2 feet of the basket. He can't play defense at all.
He struggles on the defensive end. I'll give him that. But I mean, when it's next man up, you gotta step up, and I think he's stepped up given his ability.
It does feel like something is different, though, with this squad, no doubt. It feels like they found a way to win on Tuesday night because that game was ugly to start.
That
was one of the ugliest first halves
terrible.
I've ever seen in my life.
Missed shot after missed shot, missed layup after missed layup, but then they finally got it going in the second half. Nate Ament took over.
Tale of 2 halves. There's 26 points at the end of the first half. They finished the game with 84. Made proper adjustments.
Now, with the victory, the Vols are back in the rankings at number 25, and they seem to be hitting their stride on a hot streak. Are our eyes deceiving us, or does the tape back up this analysis? Here to break it down at the board is Nick Rose and Charlie Fernandez. Guys, what have you seen out there?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. The Vols have been great so far on defense. Here we have Bishop Boswell filling the paint. Nate Ament coming in here. Nice, fancy finish. It's part of the teamwork that's been helping these Vols get some wins recently.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. I want you to take notice on how many dribbles are taken in this sequence. Gillespie starts with the ball backcourt, dribble number 1. Dishes it to Ament, over to Boswell. Dwayne Brown's going to call for it in the middle. He's going to get it. Last man to touch it, JP Estrella right down there in the paint. He's going to go one-on-one, get some help. One dribble, and everyone on the team touched the ball.
Yeah, and here, I want you to take a look at Nate Ament in the corner. He sees Tahad Petford glance once at him. What does he do? He cuts baseline behind him, fills the paint. Dwayne Brown sees that, feeds him, and Nate Ament has a nice, strong finish over the much smaller guard here for an easy bucket.
Amen. Just way too talented. Well, the Volunteers are looking to capitalize in Lexington on the road and get their get back where they previously lost to Kentucky at home and hopefully go on a 5-game win streak. Alex, back to you.
Always love your analysis over there at the board. We appreciate you and your hard work. Now, there's been so much commotion going on in Tennessee athletics. There's no doubt about it. But this is the big game this weekend. It's the one everybody gets up for. It's Tennessee versus those Cats, Kentucky. Now, our Zach Pelfrey is outside where the guys are about to load up the buses and head down I-75 to Lexington. Zach?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Tennessee and Kentucky played here just 3 weeks ago in a game which saw Tennessee blow a 17-point lead. Kentucky won that game only leading 34 seconds. Now, since then, the Vols are on a 4-game win streak, which hasn't happened since back in November. Tennessee is cleaning up their act a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, only averaging 11 turnovers, which is down from their season average of 14. Now, they're also dominant on the boards, 54.6 rebounds in the last 4 games and 15.8 average rebounds across offensive rebounds in the second half of the country. Now, freshman star Nate Ament is leading the way with 29, 22, 19, and 28 points in his last 4 games. He is going to be key against Kentucky. Now, the Vols are 1-4 in their last 5 games against the Wildcats. With the momentum of them being back in the top 25 this week and their continued win streak, the question is, guys, is this enough for Tennessee to go down to Lexington and beat the Cats?
Zach, you look a little chilly out there. You might want to put a coat on, but stay warm out there, and we appreciate you.
The key to this game here is making Nate Ament comfortable in Rupp Arena. Because if he is not comfortable and in a good headspace, you're not going to have 20 of your points. And I would say, not that I've played there, but I would say that's the most intimidating place to play besides Duke. I would not want to play at Rupp Arena. And has he ever played there at Rupp Arena before? No. I mean, so you've got to get Nate Ament in his element.
Big Blue Nation is going to come out with passion and energy, and that's what the Vols have to come out and play with too, because they cannot have another sluggish half like they had against Ole Miss. That's not going to work for them. They can't get rattled in that rowdy environment. They have to get the ball to their playmakers and just play Tennessee basketball.
Now, you guys might be asking at home, what does this Kentucky team do well? They're not ranked. They must be bad. Not true. They're 7-3 in SEC play, and most importantly, they win close games. 5-1 in one single-digit games this season in the SEC. Tennessee is 4-1 in such games with that one loss, the heartbreaker against the Kentucky Wildcats, and they're well coached. Mark Pope always has ran a well-oiled machine. This team's only turning the ball over 10 times per game this year compared to Tennessee's 13. So that's 3 extra possessions that Kentucky's getting each and every game. That cannot happen tomorrow.
And the person that really stands out on Kentucky's team is Otega Oweh. And he's Kentucky's leading scorer. He's had the past 4 games, he's had 20-plus points. And mostly field goals. He doesn't go to the three-point line a lot. And so that's where you've got to count on somebody like Okpara. My question is Okpara going to be there?
Doesn't sound like it. And without Felix Okpara, you have to have contributions from these other big guys. Dwayne Brown, Jalen Carey, JP Estrella.
Yep.
You need these guys to get inside, score these easy layups, because without Felix Okpara, arguably your best interior scorer and your best rebounder is out of the game. You see he catches these lobs from Jacoby Gillespie right here. He's a great rebounder. He's a really physical player inside. He gets through the contact and finishes, and I think that's going to be a really missed presence for Tennessee tomorrow.
You're going to have to play a full game, no doubt about it, if you want to come out of this game on Saturday with a victory. It's going to be interesting to see if Tennessee can take care of business. But we're going to find out one way or another on Saturday in primetime television. It's going to be a good one, folks. And we're going to see if Tennessee has what it takes to walk into Rupp Arena and knock off the Cats. Tip-off is set for 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Now, yesterday, Alexie sat down with a fan favorite and one of her favorites as well for the 3rd year in a row. Alexie and JP, Part 3 is here.
JP, it's year 3. You've made it 3 years. How are you doing?
Doing great, feeling amazing, happy to be here, just loving life.
Well, a lot of things have changed since last year. You get to play now.
Feels great, not having to be on that scooter. I threw it in the dumpster the second I was able to walk.
I was going to ask you if you still kept it.
No.
About a week ago, your standout game against Georgia, 17 points, 9 rebounds. What are you most proud of about how you kind of came back?
It was rough not being able to play, and just kind of pushing through that little piece. I feel like I'm most proud of myself because I knew when I came back, I knew I was going to be ready to go.
Coming off of this injury, first you're going to play a full season. Have you thought of any goals for yourself?
I want to win a national championship. I've gotten close twice. I want to push past that Elite Eight and just keep on rolling. I guess some personal goals, just be the best player I can be this year, be the best teammate, just little things like that. But really just most of my goals are all team-oriented and just win as much as we can.
That was year 3 with JP. Will there be a year 4? Yes.
So 365 days from now, right?
We'll see you in a year.
Beautiful Thompson Bowling Arena at the Food City Center on the banks of the Tennessee River. We welcome you back to the desk of Torch Sports. We thank you for tuning in each and every Friday. And now, if you've noticed, I've got some new faces alongside me, a much more relaxed group, I'll say, with Lauryn Gempler, Taylor Lankford, and Matayaus Phothirath. No hate on the other group, but here's something. They can't be relaxed right now because the Lady Vols are in the thick of their season, and they're getting ready for a big one. They're going to face number 3 South Carolina on the road coming up. Now, last show we speculated whether or not magic could happen and if Tennessee could walk into UConn's gym and do what no other team has been able to do since. Yes, that's right. The Lady Vols did it last February. Were the prayers answered? Were they? No, they were not. No. The Lady Vols dropped that one 66-96.
Yeah, Tennessee didn't have a great start to the game. Sloppy start, multiple turnovers, not able to get into a groove offensively. But, UConn, they're UConn. They set the tempo. I talked about this last week. They were able to set the tempo and make Tennessee play to their speed with their crisp ball movement, their spacing. It was just beautiful basketball. And compared to Tennessee, they play grittier. They play rough. They play tough. And UConn, they just seem to play such a beautiful game. Going into the game, their offensive points, their opponents score an average about 50.5 points per game. That's the best in D1. They average 60 steals a game. That's 3rd in D1. And look, in the second quarter, Tennessee, they dominated. They took their first lead after being down nearly 16 at one point. They were playing with confidence. And UConn, they were not able to hit their shots. And Tennessee took advantage of this. And they had momentum at the half. Seriously.
Yeah.
A fight that we haven't seen, I
Exactly.
feel like, this year.
Yes, I will definitely give some credit to the Lady Vols here because they were down 21-5 in the first quarter. They had a good 15 minutes where they were actually resilient, shockingly enough. They were able to come back and eventually get that lead. Now, at the half, I was nervous, especially after being at that Mississippi State game last Thursday. Were they going to be able to keep that fire? And I felt like yes. But UConn had a different fire lit under them, and the crowd was into it. Now the Lady Vols are going into the fourth quarter down 18, and to me, it just looked like they were tired. They gave up. They did not want to be there anymore. They wanted to be back on the flight to Knoxville. They were checked out in that fourth quarter.
Yes, the Lady Vols had a complete collapse. There's no doubt about that. But as of right now, this UConn team is untouchable. Yeah. They're number 2 in offense. They're number 1 in defense, number 1 in field goal percent, and number 1 in points differential. They haven't been challenged since last November. And a stat came up in the second quarter that when the Lady Vols were up 42-38 with 1:45 left, that it was their first time trailing in the second quarter. And my stomach sank because at that moment I knew it was over. It's something in halftime. If I heard correctly, Gino didn't even say anything to his players. They just flipped it into gear, and that was a whole other UConn team like we'd never seen before.
They woke up in the third quarter. They just could not miss a 14-0 run to end the quarter. That put the game to bed. There was no coming back from that.
And they did all this without star freshman Blanca Quinones who might I add is the 6-time Big East Freshman of the Week. This team is has so much depth, and they're so good.
I mean, they shot 58% from the field versus Tennessee's 32%. So just completely two different teams, especially in that second half.
This is simply one of the best teams that college basketball has ever seen. Defending national champions. The last time they lost was to this Kim Caldwell team. I mean, this is just, you run into a buzzsaw sometimes, but hey, it's all right. I think that the Lady Vols showed some fight in this game. I think that there are things to build on. I know Kim Caldwell is not a, momentum kind of person. She wants to see results on the stat sheet. Just the fact that you competed, I think, is a good thing. But that's the beauty of playing in an elite conference, is that Tennessee has no time to dwell on this loss. And they got to lace it up, and they faced Georgia on Thursday afternoon in Athens. It was an overtime thriller, and the Lady Vols were able to pick up the win over the Bulldogs with a final score of 82-77. Z Spearman led the way with 23 points for Tennessee, along with Mia Paldo adding another 21 points for a strong offensive performance. But Georgia did not go down without a fight, forcing the Lady Vols to have 13 turnovers. That's something you got to work on. Mia Paldo had a late injury scare in the first minute of overtime, but was able to push through it and help secure the win.
She hit her head. It looked bad.
It did look
really,
bad.
really
I was shocked she got back up after that.
Now, it feels like the aggression and defense is there at times for this squad. And occasionally it looks good. It just has to be consistent. Now, here to break it down at the board is Nick Rose and Charlie Fernandez. Guys, what have you seen out there?
Yeah, well, thanks, Alex. Can't say that the UConn loss wasn't expected. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some defensive plays here. Jada Civil driving, not fouling. Going to get the, Civil is going to get the rebound, going to fast break. Z Spearman's going to dish it, driving down the lane, and get the easy two.
Yeah, Charlie, but they had some miscues. It wasn't all sunshines and rainbows for the Lady Vols on defense. Here, a miscommunication error between Prawl and Latham. Wide open cutter, can't afford that against the number one team in the country.
That is why they are number one, absolutely right. Some more defensive woes here. Going to be a full court press, almost 3 Lady Vols in the backcourt. We're going to have Janai Barker going to come over here and steal it, but what is she going to do? It's going to go right into the hands of the UConn Huskies. She's going to be one-on-one with Z Spearman over here, who's going to go up, drive up, try to contest this layup, but she's going to foul her for an and one for UConn.
Yeah, Charlie, the Lady Vols showed signs of promising defense against UConn, had some good moments against Georgia as well as they picked up the victory there. But if they want to beat South Carolina, they're going to really need to get it into gear. Back to you, Alex.
They're just going to have to put it together for all 4 quarters. Thank you, guys. It's always a pleasure to hear from you.
Yeah, and I want to go back to something that Kim Caldwell said last week in her press conference, that the Lady Vols haven't played as many games as other teams in the SEC, that they haven't been able to string wins together with the bye and the postponement of the Ole Miss game. So, yes, they've looked a little consistent, and we knew going into February that they were going to have a hard time stringing wins together back-to-back when they're playing a very tough schedule right now. But I want to look at the improvements, specifically from Sunday game to last night's game. Looking at defensive rebounds, the Lady Vols had 19 against UConn, 30 against Georgia, and this is something Kim Caldwell has been harping on with her team. I mean, y'all have heard her say it. She has a bubble around the rim at practice, so they are forced to rebound. Now, turnovers, they had 20 against UConn. UConn scored 36 points off of turnovers. Last night against Georgia, the Lady Vols had 13 turnovers. Still would love to see that number a little lower, but definitely an improvement. And it's like Kim Caldwell has been saying, in this conference, in this league, it is game by game, day by day.
Well, you say that game by game. Could either of you tell me what the happiest animal in this world is?
I would say a tiger, maybe?
A dolphin.
No, close. Not really. It's a goldfish. A goldfish is the happiest animal because it has a 10-second memory. Just like that, it forgets everything. Last week, the Lady Vols had a tough loss at home against Mississippi State. Then a brutal second half against UConn. You have to shake it off. This game is as mental as it is physical. You have a tough schedule coming up. We know that. We've talked about it. South Carolina coming up, then Missouri, then teams like at Oklahoma, LSU, Vanderbilt. It is one play after another. The talent is not lacking on this team, and we know that. But they're lacking the fight sometimes. They've given up and just they're harping on their mistakes too much, and they're not just moving on to the next play.
And it's their mindset. And Kim Caldwell said that last week after Mississippi State. They didn't show up. They didn't act like they want to play. There's an issue in the locker room, and she said that. And I do appreciate her saying that the leadership aspect starts with her.
But the thing is, with this team, there's no consistency. on the offensive end, on the defensive end. There are way too many stretches in each game that we've seen from the Lady Vols where they go scoreless. And last night was another example. Georgia, they weren't that hot offensively. And Tennessee should have taken advantage of this, but they seem to not be smart with their shot selection this year. I mean, take this, for instance. Okay, Tennessee takes the 9th most threes in the country with 9.4 3-point attempts per game. But guess what? They're 190th in the country, 12th in the conference for actual percentage. They need to be more efficient and better with the shots if they want to win these big games, especially against South Carolina.
Well, and looking at all the improvements that I brought up, the one area the Lady Vols did not improve, 3 points. 32% against UConn and Georgia. Got to have better shot selection.
They started 2 for 12 yesterday in the first quarter.
You know, Taylor, I didn't know where you were going with the goldfish thing. That went really well. You sparked some great debate.
I appreciate it.
And I mean, let's face it, folks. UConn is without a doubt the best team in the country right now, and probably for the foreseeable future. And the Lady Vols just weren't quite ready and up for the task. So instead, how about this, guys? How about on Sunday, they battle the number 3 team in the country?
Because it gets easier.
You got to love the SEC, folks. That's right. Tennessee gets SEC powerhouse South Carolina up next with a chance for retribution and a serious momentum shifter.
South Carolina's 22-2. They're first in the SEC and they're number 3 in the AP poll. They're coming off a dominant win last night against Mississippi State by 43 points. The Lady Vols couldn't even beat them at home. They're top 5 in offensive scoring, number 4 in field goal percent, number 4 in points differential, top 5 in blocks per game. But however, much like the Death Star in Star Wars A New Hope, they are flawed. They have lost. UConn hadn't lost last week. We know this team is capable of losing. If you keep them outside of the arc, you don't allow them, Dawn Staley in this team, they are physical, don't allow them to get in the paint and score, you might win.
They might be able to beat. I don't think the Lady Vols can do it. And you want to know why?
I agree.
They're on their 3rd straight away game. This is their 2nd top 5 matchup in a week. And the way they have been playing recently is not going to be enough to go into South Carolina, the number 3 team in the country, and beat them. They've beaten, at the time, a number 4 ranked Texas, a number 7 ranked Vanderbilt. They lost to number 11 Oklahoma in overtime. They almost had that game. They should have won that game. Yeah. The Lady Vols, if they play anything like they've played this last week, they're not walking away with a win.
And look, Tennessee, they've seemed to fail a lot this season when facing ranked opponents. And I think that's even more motivation for them to play better. And look, can the energy shift for the Lady Vols? Can Kim Caldwell motivate her team to finally get over that hump? Because there just seems to be a lack of energy out there compared to the beginning of the season. I mean, seriously, when playing these tough opponents, they just need that energy shift, and hopefully the Lady Vols can get it done in South Carolina.
Hope so.
That's what happens when you play in the SEC. You get good opponents. You get good opportunities to turn the corner.
It just means more.
Let's hope.
It just
means more.
You're right, Taylor.
And I feel like I say this all the time, but the only way to become a great program is to beat other great programs. And that's what Kim Caldwell is tasked to do as she continues her 2nd-year campaign. Now, unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for today. So for Matayaus, Lauryn, and Taylor, we thank you for watching, but do not touch that dial. We've got softball, tennis, and track updates next on Tour Sports.
From the tiniest creature to the mightiest giant, every species shapes our world. Bees pollinate our plants, elephants keep forests healthy, and coral reefs protect our shores. When wildlife thrives, so do we. We all have a role to play in keeping nature strong. Together, we can protect wildlife and build a future where people and nature thrive. Find out how at wwf.earth/species.
Why is just a starting line, for the true self blooms only when we find our purpose, what makes us tick, below the surface. Our reason why is united, undivided, seeking understanding. My why is diversity and unity, a safe space in my community. It's a million faces in a mirror and everyone belongs. Find your why for a better us.
Dear humans, I stand here today not for myself, but for every tail wagger, sloppy kisser, and curtain ninja. I stand here for each one of the thousands of dogs and cats killed in shelters each day, asking you to join our cause and help us make sure every best friend has a chance to meet one of their own. With Best Friends Animal Society leading the charge, and your help, we can save them all.
We are the Tennessee Volunteers. And now is our time. Time for unbeatable experiences, for bold innovation, for historic moments. It's time to do what Vols do best. More life-changing research, more problem solving, more lighting the way. We have what it takes. It takes a volunteer.
Welcome back, folks. We thank you for watching the show so far. We hope you've enjoyed it. Now, we're almost wrapped up here, but before we leave, we're going to send it over to Connor Whitney for an update on all things Lady Vol softball.
Thanks, Alex. Well, after a long off season, it is finally softball time in Tennessee. Last spring, the Lady Vols fell short in their quest to win the program's first national championship, losing to eventual national champion Texas in the semifinals of the Women's College World Series. Tennessee enters the season having lost key players like Sophia Nugent, McKenna Gibson, and Laura Mueller to graduation, while Taylor Pannell, an infielder who led the Lady Vols in RBIs, batting average, and slugging percentage, transferred to Texas Tech. Still, head coach Karen Weekly and her staff have brought in plenty of talented and intriguing players to step in. Through the transfer portal, they added Boise State outfielder Sophia Knight, who hit .486 and stole 27 bases in 56 starts last season. Joining her from Boise is infielder Mackenzie Butt, who slugged 22 homers and drove in 77 runs. Further, the Lady Vols bring in Maddie Rutan, a two-way player from Eastern Kentucky who can pitch, hit, and play the infield. As a pitcher, Rutan recorded a .291 ERA across 176 innings pitched, and she hit for a .413 average with 61 RBIs as a batter. As for Tennessee's deep and talented freshman class, be on the lookout for Knoxville's very own Elsa Morrison and infielder Meredith Barnhart. On3.com rated Morrison as the second best high school catching recruit in the nation and the best overall state from the state of Tennessee. Meanwhile, Barnhart, a native of Parker, Colorado, was a state champion and first-team All-State all 4 years of her high school career.
Thank you, Connor. We appreciate that update. Now I'm joined by my good friend Grayson McGinnis, who's been covering a little bit of tennis action for us. Grayson, what's been going on with this Vol tennis team?
Thanks, Alex. After the season started in January, the men's tennis team has come to a record of 4-3. Their only losses were to the number 3, 5, and 8 teams in the country, so not bad losses by any means. Their most recent matches ended in a win for the Volunteers as they swept their doubleheader against Bellarmine University and Eastern Kentucky University. Later today, the men's team looks to take on Michigan State, and their match against the University of Michigan is on the horizon Sunday. For the Vols, the expectation is a dominant win over Michigan State and a close win against Michigan. For the Lady Vols tennis, the 14th ranked team had a narrow victory against 21st ranked Clemson University with a score of 4-3 and an unfortunate loss to the 5th ranked LSU Tigers by a score of 4-0. The loss brings their record to 2-1 on the season. As for upcoming matches, the Lady Vols have matches against Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Alabama to finish out the month. All are unranked. That's all for your volunteer tennis update. I'm Grayson McGinnis. Alex?
Thank you, Grayson. We always appreciate it, and great to hear about these smaller sports getting some of the love that they deserve. Now we're going to send it over to Caden Martin for a little thing on track and field. What's going on, Caden?
Thanks, guys. In the time since last week's show, Tennessee has written its name into the history books, and you might not even know it yet. The Vols pole vault team is the first in collegiate history to have 5 pole vaulters clear 18 feet in a single season. 3 Vols helped make history with Ismaila Sawane, Blake Sifferlin, and Evan Puckett all clearing the mark this past weekend at the Bob Pollock Invitational in Clemson, South Carolina. Stacking that with Clark Byram and Cade Gray doing the same thing back in December at the Winter Commodore Classic or Challenge, you have another accomplishment to add to the successful season so far for the Big Orange. Up the coast, the Vols also saw success in New England at the Boston University Terrier Classic. In the men's mile, freshman Nelson Mapi-Satek set the Tennessee record with a time of 3:58.37 seconds, the first in school history to achieve a feat on a 200-meter track. The Vols and Lady Vols combined to break 6 personal indoor records this past weekend at both. Tennessee track and field will have to bundle up and brace for Chicago as they go to the Windy City Invite today and tomorrow, while some just jump over across the state line to Blacksburg, Virginia for the Doc Hale Invite this weekend as well. Back to you guys at the desk.
There's a reason that they call us the Everything School, Caden, and we thank you for that one. And unfortunately, folks, I'm pretty sad up here, because that's all the time that we have left for this week on Torch Sports. I know I hate to see us go, and I know you do too. For daily Tennessee sports content and updates, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at TorchSportsUTK and on X at TorchSports_UTK. Now, don't worry though. We'll be right back here, same time, same place next week. Now, have a good weekend, folks. And hey, let's beat Kentucky. Let's beat South Carolina. Let's go do this for all of our Vols and Lady Vols. And of course, for Torch Sports, I'm Alex Carpenter. And as always, go Vols.